Perhaps one of the important actions or aspects of conducting a disciplinary hearing is the actual preparation for it. Because if you don't prepare for it thoroughly, you will probably not get either the intended outcome, or the outcome that you will have will be unintended, which probably might be not what the company would have desired. So in this module, we would like to look at what are the key steps that we need to undertake to prepare for a disciplinary hearing in a workplace. In starting this particular module, we have adopted particularly a phrase that says prevention is better than curing. What we mean by that is that it appears that organizations can do a lot to prevent disciplinary hearings happening than actually to spend time and energy undertaking or conducting hearings with an intention to discipline their employees. These are some of the phrases or some of the scenarios we might have come across, and we call them cries for help, where companies indicate that we have followed all the fair procedures, and now the employee is taking us to CCMA stating that no procedure was followed. Some of the employers would probably go as far as to say, we spoke to him, meaning an employee, a number of times about his absenteeism, and we warned him several times, but eventually we had to dismiss him because it appears that he was continuously being absent. But what we find being at the center of it all is that it is very important to prepare for a hearing. As a matter of fact, it is very important to ensure that there are all necessary aspects of knowledge and information in place way ahead of the actual hearing taking place. Because once a particular unwarranted, unacceptable act has been committed, you don't have much choice as an employer but to take some steps to correct it. But we do believe that it is very important that organizations, long before they can even start to observe some of these acts, they need to do something to ensure that the employees are fully informed. Because any workplace where there are employees, you are bound to have a situation whereby some of the employees will behave in a way and a manner that will be unacceptable. So the question is, as an employer, what are you doing or what have you done to empower all parties in the workplace with an intention to prevent disciplinary hearings from taking place? In this case, we're calling it prevention. At the center of it all, we do believe that having a well-drafted, clear, and straight to the point disciplinary procedures and code of conduct is one of the key elements of prevention. Not only having it in documentation kept and filed, but ensure that the employers as well as all line managers are fully informed, trained, equipped, and they are familiar with all the procedures that are enshrined in the document. Let me repeat that. Especially line managers, they need to be fully informed about the content of the code of conduct and disciplinary procedures, because they are the first line of engagement with an employee on a daily basis. So the importance of having a well-documented code of conduct as well as a disciplinary procedure cannot be overemphasized. In the context of our presentation, we call that a preventative measure. But if you've done that, if you have developed the code of conduct, you have developed the policy, if you have developed the disciplinary procedure, if you have orientated all your employees repeatedly, if you have given them copies, they have it accessible and available, if you've trained all your managers and line managers, and if you keep on reminding them, keeping on equipping them, and ensure that the responsibility they are facing is to deal with employees and ensure that they guide the employees' behavior on a day-to-day basis. After you've done all that, and still you find that there are certain acts or conducts which are unbecoming, you don't have a choice but to embark on a formal, or should I say on a disciplinary hearing to ensure that you deal with this matter. But the question is, does it mean all conducts which are unacceptable should or may lead to disciplinary hearing. Maybe not, but we're going to look at some of these incidents as we go along. But in this particular case, what we are saying is that even though a case and or a conduct might be minor, first and foremost, it has to be reported. Because one of what we have seen is that in most cases, if you do not report and bring some of these misconduct to the fore, the employee takes a cue that, okay, so if I'm late by 5 minutes, it's not an issue. So that means next time if I'm late by 30 minutes, it shouldn't be an issue. Only to find that at a later stage, once a line manager is probably highly annoyed by this kind of act, he or she will do something completely new by virtue of taking this particular employee to task for coming in late. We are emphasizing, therefore, that the starting point is to reprimand any aspect of what is not acceptable, so that an employee will know as early as possible that a particular conduct is not acceptable, not only when it's big, but when it happens, it needs to be dealt with. So under normal course of business, line managers will be the first to know about the kind of conduct of an employee that the employee is displaying. If they ignore it, they are probably doing something wrong in that particular case, which might cause a big issue at the later stage. So it is that is why we are emphasizing the point of prevention, starting from the promulgation of the code of conduct, as well as disciplinary procedure, engaging employees almost on all type of misconduct, take them to task, reprimand them, engage them and show them that what they are doing and how they are behaving is not acceptable. If all that fails, you don't have a choice but to take a matter forward. But now, so what will happen in most cases is that a particular conduct unbecoming, unwarranted, or unacceptable will happen. And this might not necessarily happen in the face of a line manager, but it might happen and other employees might have observed it. That is why it is important that any party within an organization can, should, and must report a behavior which is unbecoming and or unrequired or unwarranted or unacceptable. Now that will allow an opportunity for an employer to make a call after the reporting has happened, whether should she institute an investigation on what has been reported. An investigation becomes an important part of seeking information and facts to ensure that an employer has got the basis of deciding whether a hearing has to be undertaken or not. So, and the investigation might be undertaken by an external party, or it might be an internal party within an organization. But it is important that we don't assume or take certain reported incidents on face value or act without having sufficient information, but rather embark on a thorough investigation, get the facts, get the potential witnesses, get the people who might have seen or observed an incident,